Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all Star Wars fanatics. Welcome to another live stream by me, Gerald, Star Wars Fanatic. It's been a while since I've done a live stream, probably a month, I think, since the Andor series was even out. So I try to do, I used to do them once a week on Saturdays, but this time it's just been a little slower because of work and different things going on around. So I am trying to get more into it and back into it. Not that I'm not into it. I love talking with you guys, but welcome back and welcome here. I need to turn a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's better. So lots going on in the Star Wars world. We got the season 3 trailer for The Mandalorian, which was most outstanding looking. We'll get into that in a little bit. The Bad Batch is going on right now. We'll get into that. The Andor series is wrapped up, I think, last month. So we'll get into that as well. And of course, we will talk about Boba Fett and Mandalorians for our little buddy DR. Thank you for that comment, DR. Yeah, it is nice, Sydney. It is nice. And welcome, Dawn. Oh, yeah. Good to see you. And, okay, first off, I want to explain the thumbnail for this video. I did a couple poses. I did some exciting ones and some, like people normally see on YouTube. And to me, those are just a little bit cringy, so I try not to do those too much. But I'm all into this whole weird blank emotion thing in pictures now. When my wife and I got married just over 4 years ago, I made the photographer do a photo of us for our wedding photos of us just standing side by side, blank expressions, and just holding hands like an old timey photo. It was in black and white and everything, had the whole old timey photo look to it, and I love it. That's one of my favorite pictures, other than this one I have hanging up here, which you guys can't really see, and I'm not going to take it down. Sorry. But that's the reason for the picture in the thumbnail. I really am excited for all this stuff coming out in Star Wars. I'm super thrilled that we're getting to see so much more of the Star Wars universe, and I hope you guys can hear me. Yeah, Patrick, price it around. I got mine on Amazon for about half the price that Costco, Sam's, or any of those other places are selling them for. Um, it's it's worth the price. I mean, I've got a little remote here. I can change my colors if I want and go to the Star Wars Fanatic Yellow, which we might stick around with that for a little bit. It looks more green on this screen, but it is actually yellow. Um, yeah, so we'll start with the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer. If you guys watched it, I did a breakdown of the trailer. I caught some real quick glimpses of things, and I know other people have seen them too, but I didn't watch anybody else's breakdowns because I wanted mine to be from me. I didn't want any influences outside of what I was seeing, saying, oh, this is what, and this is in it and that's in it. I wanted to catch it myself. I wanted to go frame by frame it took me about 3 hours to go through the whole thing. And the one thing I noticed was the battle droids in the cantina, which we assume is a cantina, maybe a repair shop for droids, who knows. But behind it, there's the one droid that's got the little spark thing, call him Sparky, until we get a name for the guy. But in that scene, there are 3 battle droids sitting around, just chilling. And I thought that was really cool, because you never see too much of those guys in the post Clone Wars era. You don't see them too much in post Imperial era, especially. And it's a good way to tie in the Clone Wars of the prequels and then the sequels and then the Mandoverse and all that stuff. I think a battle droid being in with the Rebellion would have been kind of cool in the sequels, but what are you going to do? Oh, let's see what DR's got to say. Yeah, I heard about that, DR. I'd love to see Black Chrysanthemum back, or Chrysanthemum as he's just now being called. I'd definitely love to see him back, and I definitely want a good Black Series figure of him, because the last one was just a repaint of Chewbacca with some different stuff on him, different bandoliers and shoulder spikes and all that. So I definitely want a newer, updated version of him. I'm not collecting too many more Black Series figures because As you can see behind me here, my cabinets are getting a little bit full, and I'm running out of space and starting to look cluttered. I went through and boxed up a lot of my stuff and put it in the garage. That way I can switch it out every now and then, freshen it up, and everything isn't out and cluttering up all my space here. And before we get started, also, I'd just like to represent Cincinnati Bengals tomorrow, 3 o'clock, playoff against the Buffalo Bills. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. Great game. I'm rooting for both teams actually, but of course I want the Cincinnati Bengals to win. But with everything that the Buffalo Bills have gone through with Damar Hamlin, if you guys don't know, he was hit in the chest during a Sunday game with the Bengals or a Monday night game, sorry, with the Bengals, and he basically died on the field. And people were able to get to him quick enough and pump life back into him and get him back going. So prayers out for DR. DR, you're doing fine, buddy. Prayers out for Damar Hamlin and the Buffalo Bills, and I'm glad he's doing better. And I'm glad he's able to, rumor has it, he's going to do the coin toss at the game. So hope to see that. So I'm rooting for both teams, for Damar's sake and for, just good graces of the game. Anyways, too much about football. American football, that is. For you gentlemen and ladies that are overseas, it's American football. And yeah, all right, let's see here. I saw DR had a comment. How will the Mando show start? That's a good question. I would imagine, it'll probably start off like the other two series where we see Mando in some kind of mission or some kind of hunt or something, or, just introducing him back into the show. And then after that, he learns a little bit about, Mandalore and the living waters of Mandalore, and goes back to the armor, tells her, I'm going, which he already told her that, so I don't know why we have to see it again, but it's the Mandalorian. Who's not going to love it? I'm sure there are people out there who are not going to love it, but it's going to be great. It's been long overdue for us to get a new season of The Mandalorian. And we really need it. And Knut, to answer your statement, not really a question, you don't get American football. It's a little bit like rugby, only how could I put it? Slower, I should say. It is a brutal sport, nonetheless. People are getting injured all the time. Like I just said, that one gentleman had his heart stopped right on the field when he got hit. So yeah. Oh, season 2 was over 2 years ago. See, I'm not paying attention to many rumors anymore. I used to do that a lot, and then when they didn't happen, I was like, well, who's your source? And I'm just starting to question all the people that are doing all this. And I don't want to be that way. I don't want to be the guy that says, hey, you're stupid, because I'm not going to call anybody stupid, but I'm not going to say, hey, your sources are wrong or your information's wrong. I'm just going to let them be. Let them be what they are. Let the people be who they are. Let them do their thing, because go for it. Do you. Be you. Playing God of War. Ah, nice. I haven't played that in a while. I played the first new one. It was pretty decent. We're going to see Boba. If I remember, the leaked trailer from the Star Wars convention had Boba on it. And then they quickly took it down. Prefer normal football. I like normal football too, as we call it here, soccer. My stepsons both played soccer, or football as you guys call it. And I actually like it. We have a professional team here in town, the FC Cincinnati, and they're really good. They're a really good team. We just built them a stadium, a year or two ago? Yeah, the leaked footage originally, DR, had Boba Fett in it. So we're gonna see Boba Fett again. I mean, we got in the new trailer, we got Pelimato, who is on Tatooine, and it's hard to go to Tatooine, and the relationship Boba Fett and Din Djarin have together, it's gonna be hard not to get them intermingled again. Hey, Jason, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Never too late. We just started about, I'd say, 3 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago. Oh, it's been like 11 minutes. Wow, I've been rattling off about things that don't matter to Star Wars for a few minutes. But there's one thing I found on this website. I don't want to name their name because I don't want to get hit for some kind of copyright infringement or something. But this one famous distributor of things, the world's largest distributor of things, has an option to go on and make an American football jersey for yourself, customizing it and all that stuff. So I came up with this because I bought a couple American football jerseys recently, and I wanted to share this with y'all. If you can read it, the front says Star Wars, the back says, let's move it over a little bit, says FANATIC with 66 as the number. I thought that was really cool that they allow that to happen, so I will be purchasing that shortly. What lightsaber form will Din Djarin use? Well, that would require him to take formal lightsaber training. Um, and I don't know if anybody other than Luke or Ahsoka would be able to teach him proper lightsaber form. As we saw in the Mandalorian, or sorry, in the book of Din Djarin, I mean, the book of Boba Fett, he was kind of sloppy with his form, so hopefully he learns something with it and learns how to properly use it. Um, yeah, so that's going on. Seem longer than other ones and heavier. Um, the dark saber's heavier because it was fighting against Din Djarin. He wasn't working with it. He wasn't connected to it. And with the dark saber, it's a little different than a regular lightsaber because they haven't really gone into the lore of why. But it just, if you're fighting against it, it's gonna be a little more awkward to use. Yeah, the book of Luke Skywalker, or the book of Grogu, whichever you want to call it. I'm just hoping that the Mandalorian has 2 episodes totally dedicated to Boba Fett. And that would be justice. And if they make a Luke Skywalker show, we need an episode dedicated to Boba Fett in that as well. I mean, Luke didn't really need to be in the book of Boba Fett, so why wouldn't Boba Fett be in the book of Luke Skywalker? How's Finn just go ahead and use a lightsaber? Um, his form was bad too, but the lightsaber he was using was Anakin's slash Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, and it really didn't have that where it would fight against you type of thing. It's a Jedi's lightsaber, and it had been used by Jedi primarily, and well, really only since its creation, where the dark saber had been used by only one Jedi, and that was thousands of years ago by Tar Vizsla. And the rest of the people that used it were like Maul or Pre Vizsla or Vizslas of the past before Pre Vizsla, Moff Gideon, um, what's her name, Bo Katan. Um, yeah, yeah. I still like the Book of Boba Fett. Don't get me wrong, but I do think they need to make a second season and bring Boba back to life a little bit. I think they need to. He needs to see that, okay, this life wasn't meant for me. I'm not this nice guy crime lord who didn't commit any crimes. I'm I'm a hard ass. I don't tolerate insolence. All fit together in a larger theme. Yes, absolutely. They do all fit together in a larger theme, and that's what's been dubbed the Mandoverse. And uh, sexy baritone voice. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know about baritone. It's probably more of a tenor. I don't know. It's been a while since I've taken music classes. Um, but yeah, it is all connected, and all of it. And sorry for some of you who don't like the idea, but all of it's going to be connected to the sequel trilogy eventually. But before we all get our little undies in a bunch, the sequel trilogy is approximately 25 years after The Mandalorian. So a lot can happen between that time. And a lot of people are thinking it's going to go Mandalorian sequel trilogy. And it's not. There's 25 years. I mean, we had a whole Clone Wars in 3 years. We had the Galactic Civil War that lasted 24 years. Um, so there's a lot that can happen. And in that, I'm predicting the Grisk. Why can't I say the word? The Grisk Wars happening in that time. And that's where Thrawn comes in. That's where Ezra comes in. And I had this whole video. I may have done 2 or 3 videos on it where I basically say that Thrawn and Ezra are going to be like the movie Enemy Mine, where they're enemies, but they have to work together in the unknown regions after taken there by the Purrgil to combat the Grisk. And Ezra will get a chance to see why Thrawn is the way he is, why he's trying to get the Empire to help him so they can defeat the Grisk. Now, if you don't know who the Grisk are, maybe you remember the Yuzan Vong. And it's basically the same concept, the same type of army, type of marauders and no-gooders, you know? All right, so let's see what a couple comments here say. Sorry if I'm silent for a moment. I'm just going to read off this other screen here. Boba needs to get pissed. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. We need to see him mad again. I mean, the only time we really saw him mad in the Book of Boba Fett was when the Pajama Gang jumped him, and then when he was fighting with Cad Bane. Is Finnick rule most Espa? Well, no, not Finnick. I want her to stick around with Boba Fett. I think she's a good psychic. I know a lot of people think that she's woke or whatever, but I think, now hear me out. I think that, what's his name, Cobb Vanth would be a better ruler of Mos Espa. He's already shown he can lead a town. Now let's give him something bigger. Give him a little bit more responsibility. Yeah, Patrick, let's go a little bit more into your comment. He says, Bo-Katan has a mean girl quality about her. She'll fail again if she's Mandalore and gets the Darksaber. Yes, I agree with that. But I also think that there's going to be something more to Bo-Katan. And that is her relationship to Din Djarin, which is kind of rocky because he's got the Darksaber. She wants the Darksaber. But then she's got a relationship with Ahsoka Tano, who Ahsoka helped her rid Mandalore of Maul, albeit she brought in clones who occupied their world. But Ahsoka did get rid of Maul, an unrightful ruler. Then at the same time, Bo-Katan, with her insight and her intelligence, not that she's intelligent and not that she's stupid, but intelligence as in a militaristic intelligence, helped Ahsoka escape Order 66 by the capture of Maul. Maul letting Maul go and him running free throughout the Venator and just obliterating so many clones. It took those out of her way, took more out of her way, because can you imagine what that hangar would have looked like if Rex and Ahsoka showed up and those ones that Maul didn't take out were there as well? Probably would have been a little more of a struggle. I'm not saying she would have died, but I'm saying that it made it easier for her to escape with letting Maul go. So Bo-Katan and Ahsoka have this relationship. Ahsoka and Din Djarin have a friendly type relationship. She doesn't really trust him because, well, let's face it, he's a Mandalorian, and Jedi and Mandalorian don't really get along. But Ahsoka and Bo-Katan, and Ahsoka, Din Djarin, Bo-Katan, Din Djarin, all these relationships. It's like this big triangle. So I don't think Bo-Katan's going to be the actual antagonist. She might start off that way, and she might, try her best to get the Darksaber back, but she's going to fail. She's not going to get the Darksaber back, and she would fail as a Mandalorian leader because right now her pride and her lust for power is stronger than what the ultimate goal should be. New Mandalorian with Din Djarin on trailer. Where he with? Oh, that. I did want to talk about that, Mushrooms Hunter. Thank you. I did want to talk about that when I did the trailer breakdown, but I wanted to keep it roughly 8 to 10 minutes. That's what I like to try to keep my videos at. Sometimes I'll go a little bit longer, but I wanted to talk about that in there, but I ran out of time. So with the different Mandalorian armor that we saw. Okay, I pointed out in my trailer breakdown that one Mandalorian was wearing classic Mandalorian armor, such as Boba Fett and Jango Fett's. Everybody else was wearing the post-Imperial Mandalorian armor, which is stuff that we see Din Djarin or the Armorer or Paz Vizsla wearing. Now, it doesn't mean that that armor only existed after the Empire was gone, but you see it more prevalent during that time. But in all the Mandalorians that we see, all of them are wearing different colors. And if you know anything about Mandalorians, every color means something in their armor. But in the past, we saw groups like Death Watch who wore primarily blue, gray, silver, that type of thing. They all color coordinated with each other, like they called each other before school and said, "Hey, wear your Bengals shirt today." "I'll wear mine." "Cool, we'll twin." But these Mandalorians look like they're all from different clans or houses or organizations coming together. And that's kind of cool to see because we haven't seen that type of thing in live action at all. Really, we haven't seen this many Mandalorians in live action, but we haven't seen it in the Clone Wars or anything else. A bunch of different groups coming together for a common goal. So I think this is going to be very interesting to see play out. Yes, Dawn, the trailers are purposefully deceitful the way they're cut and overdubbed. Yes. So they could make us think one thing's going to happen, but then it doesn't. And that is on purpose because they don't want us to have everything in the trailer. A 2-minute trailer shouldn't tell us the entire story. It shouldn't even lead us in the right direction. But then some people get upset when those things don't pan out the way they thought they were going to. And it just turns out bad. And I'm tired of this glare on my glasses. Let me try to, maybe I can read a little. Maybe not. I don't know. I got tiny eyes. Let's put them back on. That was stupid. That was a stupid idea. So yeah, there's that. Now, I want to get into the Bad Batch just a little bit on this. Now, I've done 3 reviews on the Bad Batch episodes so far. And boy, I gotta say, got me some hate. Got some haters out there on my reviews. Because of the 4 episodes that have been released, only 1.5 of them has been really good to me. Now, that's not saying you can't enjoy them. That's not saying take my opinion as your own influence and say, okay, because he hates it, I hate it. Don't do that. Don't hate something just because I didn't like it. Go love what you love. I am not stopping you. I don't want to stop you. I don't want to influence you. I put my opinions out there because I like talking about Star Wars, whether it's good or bad. And you don't hear me do too many negative reviews on Star Wars. I mean, the whole way through the Book of Boba Fett, I was defending the show. I mean, now watching it again, I'd like to do another review on that scooter gang, just little Scooby-Doo people, the Power Rangers, as they've been called, or whatever you want to call it, the people in Vespas. And it isn't even that they have shiny rides that upsets me. I don't care about that. Poor people in the desert have nice cars all the time. In our own world, I mean, you see shiny cars in the desert. So that doesn't even bother me. And they're usually youths that have those cars. I mean, my son, he's one of them. I mean, we live in a temperate zone, and he has a souped up Subaru. He's poor. I don't want to say poor. He works his butt off for what he has. He's not some low-life guy sitting in a box car somewhere sprinkling on his night in a freight train cologne. He just enjoys what he enjoys. NBA, good to see you. I gave the scooter gang cooler armor. They should have done something cooler with the scooter gang, I think. I mean, the little spin moves that one guy did. I mean, I forget all their names. That's how irrelevant they have been to me. But anyways, back to the Bad Batch. So I did reviews 3 times, one of which I praised it. I was like, oh my God, this is great. And that's the third episode. That's the one with Crosshair and Cody. And I love that episode. I'd like to see more of that, but I know this show's about the Bad Batch. It isn't about Cody. It isn't about the other clones. It's about the Bad Batch. And I know that these other episodes are going to tie into something bigger. But my reaction is that of instant reaction. It isn't one of, all right, I know this is going to play out later. It's going to be a great story and all that stuff, because I don't know that. I'm not in the production team. I don't know where it's going, but I'm sure it will play into something bigger. I just don't know how great that bigger story is going to be. My biggest beef with the Bad Batch series has always been Sid. That's it. Sid. I don't like Sid. It's not that I don't like her as a character, as an idea of a character. I just think Sid is not a Trandoshan. Looks like a Trandoshan, only short and stubby, but doesn't act like a Trandoshan. Doesn't sound like a Trandoshan. Could have been that she was not raised around Trandoshans, but then she has the Trandoshan physiology, which means her tongue is bifurcated and long, meaning that it's going to be harder for her to pronounce basic words the same as somebody with a shorter, stubby tongue. It's just the way it is. You ever known somebody with a big fat tongue that sounds like this? And it's just the way it is. It's no knock on them. It's no knock on anybody else. It's just that stay true to who the character is. Much like people didn't like the Grand Inquisitor in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series because his head wasn't 7 feet tall. You know, it's more, I don't know. I didn't mind that as much because from animated to live action, there's going to be some differences. And I mean, you wanted Rupert Fine, whatever his name was, you want him to shine as a person and as a character. So, whew, man, I need another drink. This is coffee, by the way. There's nothing else in it. Rocking the Star Wars FANATIC brand here. Yeah, I made this cup. SWF. Mythosaur on the other side. Did it with a bunch of my wife's nieces. We all went to Color Me Mine for Christmas one year, and I was like, hey, I'll just make a coffee cup while you guys are busy doing your little flowery things and everything. It looks like a 4-year-old made it, and it's fine. It's the way I wanted it to look. Okay, I'm lying. I didn't want it to look like a 4-year-old did it. I wanted it to look nice, but I got what I got, and I enjoy it. Have I thought about Yaddle? Talks normal, but Yoda doesn't. That's different. Yaddle and Yoda, I haven't seen anything that would hamper their speech, where Yoda talks in riddles and backwards and all this stuff, and that doesn't mean everybody should. We know people in our own world that talk weird. Some people use big words out of place and just sound like they don't know what they're talking about. Well, that's kind of a Yoda to me. And I see Blaze Cap in here. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, DR, I agree with that. But they're not going to show later scenes of Cody post his AWOL. I don't think he's dead. He's not dead. Admiral Rampart's just a douche. Dude's just not that stupid to kill off one of our characters off screen that we've loved for so many years. Looks like a 50-year-old made it. All right, thanks, Canute. I am 50. If y'all didn't know, I did turn 50 in August. How many children are alive? What could follow Grogu in future? Well, let's hope for Gungi, or Grungy, or whatever his name is, the little Chewbacca or Wookiee Jedi. Let's hope he's still alive. That would be kind of neat. They age similarly to Yoda's species, so maybe they could become friends. That'd be neat. I mean, can you imagine Din Djarin taking on another foundling, this time a Wookiee Jedi? Surround yourself with Jedi, you know? Go crazy with it. Hey, thanks, DR. How is Grogu gonna sound when he starts talking? Well, let's do it like this. Hey, Daddy. Hey, you think we could, go on another adventure? That's what I'm picturing Grogu as right now. Hey, thanks, Geezer. Hey, Geezer, good to see you, buddy. And you changed your name back? That's awesome. Um, yeah, so I see that being, just something fun. I don't know how he's going to sound. Probably much like a 5-year-old would sound, like all cutesy kitty. I mean, they've built him up as this cutesy guy with these powers and everything, or cutesy kid with all these powers and everything. And everybody likes the cutesy Grogu. They're not going to put some voice on him that makes him sound like, uh, sound like Barry White. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to come out. Hey, man, want to chill? Let's go pick up some O's. That ain't going to happen. He's going to be a kid. Yes, we need Jango Fett content. I agree with that, Dr. And we need. I I don't necessarily need to see it in live action. Give me a novel. Give me a novel. I mean, I've wrote so many fan fictions. I can just steal that and make it into a novel. I don't care. Take it. That's what I put it out there for people to use it. Baby animal from Puppet Babies. Yeah, that could be possible. Um, yeah, so it's an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. There's so much going on. The Ahsoka series, and everybody's thinking Thrawn's going to be the big bad guy in The Mandalorian. I don't think so. I think Moff Gideon's still going to be that hinge point. And it isn't going to be until the end, like somebody had mentioned before. Was it Brittany? Said that Thrawn will be in the after credits of the last episode of The Mandalorian, and that's probably possible. And it's probably pretty accurate because it'll lead into the Ahsoka series, just as they had the after credit scene with Boba Fett leading into the book of Boba Fett, one series into another, and that's probably what they'll do with the Ahsoka series. And then Thrawn will be in the Ahsoka series, starting out as an enemy, because as of right now, that we know of, Ahsoka's still searching for Thrawn and still thinks of him as an Imperial higher up in the Imperial Navy, and he stole Ezra and tried to destroy Lothal and all this stuff. So in her eyes, he's still a villain. But coming back years later and decades later, not decades, probably what, 6, 7 years later, he comes back, changed person. He and Ezra have been fighting the Grisk and so on and so forth. And then the Grisk are going to be entered into the near the end of the Ahsoka series, and it's going to lead into bigger stories for the Mandalorian and if they do a season 2 of Ahsoka and all this. But I think eventually all these stories are going to combine into one series, uh, into the Mandalorian, or just call it Mandalorian or Mandalorians. Change the name of it, make it into one big story. That's how I see it anyway. Kind of like, the Avengers all culminated into Endgame and the other one before Endgame. I can't remember it. It was a good way to do it, and I liked it. I don't know where MCU is going right now. That's kind of disturbing me. That there's so many shows coming out with all these new superheroes and supervillains, and I'm just my mind's boggled. I haven't even watched the Werewolf by Night yet, and I don't think I finished Moon Knight. Yeah, give me a job at Lucasfilm. I'll take it. I'll write the damn Jango Fett book. I've already written it. Good one, DR. Well, Disney used Grogu for the future, like after Mandalorian technically he could live a long time. Yeah, I mean, after the Mandalorian's over, Grogu could go on and be the next phase of Star Wars. Maybe even he could show Luke a thing or two. Remember, Grogu was in the Jedi Temple for many years, went through many masters, and Luke Skywalker trained for 18 months. I think Grogu's probably got some knowledge in there that he could help Luke with. Yeah, I miss the old MCU too, Knut. It was good stuff. Iron Man, Thor. Well, Thor's still around, but Captain America. I, that upset me when Chris Evans, Captain America, was gone. Um, but yeah, I miss those too. Hey, thank you, Jason. If you're still around, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, no problem, Patrick. He said, thanks so much for your deep dive into Grogu. You're the only one I found who did it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Grogu's got some issues. Um, and I know we saw that in the book of Boba Fett, and now we're going to see it again in The Mandalorian. Grogu's got some issues from Order 66 and who he can trust, who he can't trust. I just, I feel like there's a lot of story there to tell, and I don't think a Grogu series on its own would be the way to go with it. I mean, it's good that he partnered up with Mando. Oh, I did not know that, DR. That's sad. My prayers out for Chris Hemsworth. And if anybody's watched the Witcher series, um, and you know anything about it, then you know Henry Cavill is not going to return as Geralt um, of Rivia. That's sad. I liked him. Oh, thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. Yeah, it took me a long time to make those. I think it was over a span of a year. It took me to make all those videos. Anybody that's seen them, DR, Knut, Robin, any of you guys can chime in how long you think it took me to finish that up. I mean, I got one going of what's his name, Jodo Cast, and I never did finish it. I mean, that's been what, a year and a half since I did the last one, and I still haven't finished it. Every time I try to write the script for it and come up with ideas for it, I run into a wall, and it's like, wow, where am I going with this? It's starting to become repetitive, and I need some fresh idea to pop into my head. Yeah, DR begged me to finish. Yeah, so it's been a it's, this year is so exciting for me. Not just for my channel. I mean, my channel is growing daily and steadily, slowly but steadily. But that's not the reason I'm excited for Star Wars. It's because when I was a kid, 1977, A New Hope, 1980, Empire Strikes Back, 1983, Return of the Jedi, 3 years apart from each other. Then it was another, what, 16 years before The Phantom Menace came out. And I mean, really, other than cheesy cartoons, we really didn't have anything in between that time. So now that we're getting more Star Wars stuff more frequently, I'm happier. It's making me feel fulfilled. Yeah, some people don't like some of the stories that are coming out, and I mean, we all get to that point. We all find something that we don't like in the Star Wars universe, but then we find something we all do like, or most of us like, or some of us like together, and we bond on that, and it's just an exciting time to see all this Star Wars coming out, and I don't have to wait 3 to 16 years for it. Yeah, The Mandalorian, I had to wait, what, 2 years now for the season three of that. But in between that, there was other stuff. There was Andor, there was the Bad Batch, there was the Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi, in which I did not hate Kenobi. I don't understand what the hate is for the Kenobi series. I really don't. Riva, okay, she's an annoying character. I'll give you that. But that's only one aspect of the show. At the end of it, when the whole Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi thing, that really got me. It was like, okay, A New Hope makes so much more sense now why Obi-Wan Kenobi lied to Luke Skywalker about his father. He's traumatized. Okay, we could have probably figured that out. But seeing this, why he disassociated Darth Vader from Anakin Skywalker makes so much more sense now. They're not the same person. Darth Vader said, I killed Anakin Skywalker. So, when Obi-Wan Kenobi meets Luke Skywalker, or tries to mentor him at first, he says, a young Jedi named Darth Vader. That's still a lie. Darth Vader was never a Jedi. But says he hunt down and killed Jedi Knights, and he betrayed and murdered your father. So he wasn't lying. Darth Vader betrayed and murdered Anakin Skywalker, as Darth Vader said in the Kenobi series. So, I don't understand where all the hate's coming from. Everybody says, well, it should have been about Luke. It should have been about Luke. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, that was a blanket statement. Everybody doesn't say that, but there are some haters out there saying that it should have been about him watching over Luke. Why? How much fun would that have been to see Obi-Wan Kenobi staring at Luke in a desert? What's he going to do? Fix farmer disputes or stop Tuskens from invading them? That's just, I don't know. To me, it sounds a little boring. Leia was more on the adventure side of the twins. She was more involved in the galaxy, whether by choice or by her family's choice. Her father was a senator. She's a princess. She's got access to more adventure than Luke did. Just made sense to me. And I'm not hating on Luke. I mean, Luke was brought up the way he was brought up. Seen a Bad Batch where Omega kept going for money was crazy because they're easy. You could have filled up pockets, etc. But shows that she's different from them now. Yeah, I can agree with that. More fanfic. All right, Don. I'm actually thinking about doing a fan fiction. I want to do one totally out of the realm of everything else I've ever done. I love the Mandalorian stuff, and y'all know that's my favorite culture in the Star Wars universe. But I want to do a fanfic, and I've mentioned this in the comments of my video I released this morning. I want to do one on Order 66. I want to do one that would be a whole series, because right now all we get is bits and pieces of Order 66, and we got to kind of place them together and see where they fit and see how all these characters fall into it and all that. I'd like to do one from multiple perspectives, like a whole story of multiple perspectives. One from inside the Jedi Temple, one from during the Clone Wars during a battle, and then another one from an outsider looking in, such as a senator or a galactic citizen that sees this galaxy changing and the Jedi are gone. I'd love to see something like that from Lucasfilm. Give us an entire story on Order 66. That way we don't have to see more of it from each individual person. And they could just, when meeting a new character, they could say, yeah, I lived through Order 66 and lost a lot of friends. And they don't have to show flashbacks of Anakin chopping up people. We don't need to see that all the time. But if they give us one big story, then we don't have to see it all the time anymore. Kenobi in his rock garden. I mean, there were some goofy parts about the Kenobi series, don't get me wrong, but there's goofy parts about everything. I mean, the frog lady with the eggs in The Mandalorian, I thought that was just unnecessary. It didn't make much sense to me. It didn't add to the bigger story, carrying this frog lady to her husband. It was just a side story. And yeah, sometimes that happens, and especially in serials like this where The Mandalorian's based off of old samurai and serials and old western serials where there's going to be a different adventure every week, but eventually at the end of the episode it's going to jump into the main story with Mando meeting up with Bo-Katan. Hey, Terminal Hotshot, good to see you. Sorry, I get a little parched. Yeah, so I'm just having a blast making videos. And if you haven't noticed, I've increased how many videos I make. And if I'm off and I have time, I'll make 2 videos. I'll spend 8 to 12 hours at my computer just making videos. I do all of it myself. Every bit of my videos, I do myself. The editing, the voiceovers, the thumbnails, the descriptions, all of it. Because I enjoy doing it. I have so much fun doing it. I just sit here and smile while clicking away, and like, ooh, I like this picture. And I'm learning new stuff with Photoshop and After Effects and all that. And if you haven't seen my new intro, I've changed the music in it a little bit and changed a little of the visual in it. So, yeah. Let's see. And I'm just checking through the comments here. Oh yeah, I want to see Ant-Man. Ant-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy are my 2 favorite MCUs. I'm just upset that Dave Bautista is not going to rejoin the cast for another movie after this 3rd one. But let's see how the third one turns out. I hope they don't kill him off. Just let him go off in peace so he can mourn his family. Yeah, Egg Lady was weird, but I mean, I liked the episode too because it brought those spiders in, and those spiders have been in Star Wars back scenes ever since The Empire Strikes Back. Um, and it's been great seeing them in live action. I mean, we saw a little bit of them in, well, an iteration of them in the Jedi Fallen Order game, and that was neat. Um, but yeah, I mean, I really want to do that fan fiction now. Wow, I'm really thinking about it. That would be comprehensive. That'd take me a year or more to finish. Anyways, if any of you guys know anybody at Lucasfilm, just tell them I want to do that. That's actually my dream is to write a novel for Lucasfilm, even if it's just one. Even if I just write the dialogue in a Star Wars comic, you know, they don't even have to put my name on it. Just let me have fun. Pay me $5. I'll do it. I'll even sign your little non-disclosure agreements and all that stuff. I'm getting older. Chances of my dreams coming true are closing in. But if all I wind up doing is this YouTube channel, then I am happy because I love doing this channel. I love talking with you guys. I love hanging out with you. Now, there are some people I do not like talking to, and I do not like hanging out with, and I do. Let me bring out my inner Zen right now. I do get a little upset at. It's hard for me to. I try to read every comment in the comment section of videos. I owe it to you guys to at least do that. You've taken your time to send me a comment, and I'm going to do that. But I'm going to ask, be respectful, because I do have a short fuse when it comes to that kind of negativity and stuff. It boils me because I'm nothing but positive, and most of the time when people are hating on me and stuff, I tell them have a good day, and I mean that. Have a good day. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a better day than you did watching my video, because obviously you didn't like it. So go have a good day. Stop worrying about the bad day. But coming out and trying to call out what I do, saying that I don't know what I'm talking about and all this stuff. I do know what I'm talking about. I may not be a genius when it comes to Star Wars. I don't know everything about Star Wars, but the stuff I talk about, I do know what I'm talking about. I won't bring it up if I don't know what I'm talking about. That's stupid. It's like somebody, like me, for instance. I like soccer, but I don't know much about it. That'd be like me trying to analyze soccer to you guys and say, hey, this is how you play it. This is the form. This is the plays and all that. 'Cause I have no idea. So I'm not going to do it. It's just stupid. I sound stupid if I try to do it. But one person in particular yesterday just berated me, a couple of my videos, just like crazy. And I called him out for it. I said, hey, everybody, this is what we call a toxic fan, so on and so forth. And I told him, have a good day. Then I was walking around in Barnes and Noble when this happened. So my wife and I were on date night, and one of our things on date night is to go through Barnes and Noble and see what kind of new things we can find. I looked at the comment and I was like, So that's when I typed that out real quick, and then I started looking through this person's channel. And their channel is all about, oh, I want to uplift you, I want to be positive. And I'm not going to say their name because I'm not going to give them that much credit. But they're like, oh, I want to show you how to be a better production person and all this on their channel. And I see they've been doing this for 14 years and only have 125 subscribers. Now, that's not me gloating, saying I'm better, that I have so many more subscribers and all that. I got lucky, and I'm happy about that luck. But don't say you're this positive person who wants to uplift people. Go onto my channel and comment all this negative spewed crap, because I'm not going to tolerate it. And if you keep it up, I'm just going to stop you from commenting on my channel. You can comment all you want, but nobody's going to see it, because I'm going to make it where you can't be seen. Not because I don't agree with your opinion, but because that's negativity, and that's not what my channel is about. My channel is not about toxicity. I don't spew toxicity, and I don't want anybody else doing it. The main reason for this channel is to put positivity into the Star Wars fandom. And if you're bringing toxicity in, then you're tainting the karma of my channel. And this guy definitely put some bad karma on himself. And then I realized something. Okay, this guy's using all caps and italics. He's not trying to berate me. He is, but at the same time, he's trying to draw attention to himself, to get people to click on his channel, to go over there, because he sees that my channel has grown and he's wanting to divert my audience over to him. Didn't work. Sorry, buddy. Just didn't. And this isn't the first time this gentleman has, or lady, I'm not even sure what it is, has done this. It's been over the past 3 years I've been getting these kind of stupid comments from him. So next one I get, I'm just, you're not going to be seen anymore. You can watch my videos all you want. You're not going to comment. Yes, that is a Bo Karen helmet, DR. Funny how it's at Barnes & Noble. I'm just checking some of your comments. Yeah. No, it's not a kid, DR. It's an actual adult, and they should act more like an adult. I guess we could say they're kids. But I'm not about toxicity, and I'm not gonna waste my time with it anymore. Can I put it on quickly? No. I'm in sweatpants. I am not standing up. Yeah, okay, funny story about that. It's, let me see if I still have that going. Let me see. All right, so I've never been a huge fan of sweatpants. To me, baggy sweatpants on men looks like a hobo just climbed out of a boxcar and spritzed pig crap all over him. I know that's judgy. It was judgmental, but to me, for me to wear them, that's what I would feel like I'm wearing. Now, my wife has told me, you need sweatpants, you need sweatpants, you need sweatpants. And I'm like, I don't want any sweatpants. I just think it's weird. Um, you know, never mind. I don't even want to get into that. But so she wants me to do more yoga, and I do yoga once in a while with her. She's a yoga instructor. You'd think I'd do it all the time, but I do not have the time, and I should make time. But anyways, she wants me to do more yoga, and I tell her, all I got's jeans. That's all I have. I don't have yoga pants. I'm a guy. I don't wear yoga pants. So for Christmas this year, I opened my gifts, and lo and behold, there's a pair of sweatpants. Yep, sweatpants. So I'm like, okay, well, let me try them on. I try them on. I take them off to wash them. Then I put them right back on. These are the most comfortable damn things I've ever put on my skin. I can't believe I've never wore sweatpants before now, and now I am a hobo climbing out of a boxcar spritzing pig crap all over him because it's comfortable. The pig crap's not comfortable, I would imagine, but you know what I mean. The sweatpants are comfortable, and I'm not standing up and picking up a Bo-Katan helmet because I'm wearing pig crap pants. Yeah, W. Baldwin, exactly. They do lead to comfort. And I am so comfortable in these things, and I never thought I would be. So now I'm like this sweatshirt, t-shirt, sweatpants guy, you know? And I'm going out to the store later, but I might not wear the sweatpants. I might have to put my jeans on. And Knut, cheers to you, because here I am in my sweatpants. And I mean, I was like, oh my God, these are the most comfortable things I've ever worn. And she was like, I told you. And my son's like, see, you always told me I look like a hobo when I wear my sweatpants. And I'm like, well, because I thought you did. But now, you're not a hobo at all. You just know how to be comfortable, and I was stupid. Audiobook recommendations for Shane Normand. I I haven't done many audiobooks, but the one I would recommend that I have done is Dooku Jedi Lost. That one's really good. Um, and if you haven't tried the Aftermath series, those are also really good. Um, Aftermath, Empire's End, and I forget the last one. Maybe that was the last one. Yeah, from Aftermath to Empire's End. There's one in between. I forget. It's got the Millennium Falcon on the front. I could probably look up there, and it's up there somewhere. Yep, there it is. Life Debt. Yep, got it right there. Yeah, I got a bookshelf way up above my head that's got some of my books on it. And my nifty little Kylo Ren Build-A-Bear Workshop bear. Uh-huh. Yeah, I got one. Um, but yeah, Star Wars has been so amazing over my lifetime from 1977 to this point. I love the Legends stuff, most of it. I don't like the Dark Empire stuff. The Luke clone really irked the crap out of me. But for the most part, a lot of those stories are great, and I'm glad they're there. I'm glad they're still printing them. And I'm also liking the new stuff. I mean, those who say Legends was better, or the Expanded Universe was better, I only watch that, and I only pay attention to that, and I only read that. Come on. You're shrinking your horizons. You're just open up a little bit. It's not a comparison. It's not which one's better, which one makes more sense. It's fun entertainment. Just enjoy it. I mean, I get where people don't like the new Star Trek movies. I do understand that because, you took the original story and you changed it. Let's see. Just got here listening while at work. Can't wait for the season. The Mandalorians are so cool, and I can't wait to see their lore past the Clone Wars. Exactly. We need a lot of live action Mandalorian lore. That's just all there is to it. And I mean, who wouldn't want to see a Tar Vizsla origin? I mean, imagine that. That'd be amazing. Uh, I'd love to see a Tar Vizsla story brought into live action, not animation, live action. Because when the animation, you get more of a kid element, and I'm not hating on that, but I think the story of Tar Vizsla would be better suited as an adult audience, similar to Andor. And let me tell you, okay, freaking Andor. Oh my God, I love that show. Um, I love Andor. It's just the Andor series just really got me. I wasn't excited for it at all. I was happy for the diversity that was going into the show, and I was happy for the Latino community for getting a lead that's incredible. But for the story, I was just like, okay, there wasn't much to his character in Rogue One. I mean, there were little bits and pieces that they could play off of, but I didn't understand that it could be this, and I fault myself for not trusting in Tony Gilroy. Um, but from the first scene, I was hooked. I was just dumbfounded. I was like, this is different. This is a different kind of storytelling for Star Wars. This is adult. And it was very adult. And it just drew me in. Pedro Pascal. Is he Latino? I can't remember. I can't. I can't put my thumb on it because he doesn't have an accent to go with him. So usually I can place where a roundabout region they're from if they have an accent. Ooh, that'd be neat. Peen Muncher 69. Peen Muncher. I like that. I'd like to see the Tar Vizsla story start off with Tar Vizsla growing into becoming a Jedi, making the dark saber, his rise to power in Mandalore, and then go off into a Vizsla story. How the dark saber was handed down from generation to generation, which Vizslas owned it, and did anybody in between that time own it? Because the only person that claimed divine right for owning the dark saber that we know of was Maul, formerly Darth Maul. He was the only one. He's the only one we've seen that really did that. you know, and then it became a thing after that, and I was like, wait, never heard of that. Never heard, you know, the Vizslas are off hiding on Concordia. And Pre Vizsla has the dark saber. Why don't we consider him the leader of the Mandalorians? Well, he's not. He's the leader of Death Watch. That was it. So that all got really confusing to me. And now Din Djarin's got it, and he's ruler of Mandalore. Okay, there's only been a couple people claim that title because of the dark saber. We should somehow see Garth Saxon's Mandalorian armor in live action. Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see his Mandalorian Commando outfits, both of them, the Clone Wars era and the Imperial era. I think that'd be really cool. Right, exactly, a child. I mean, there's no real story before Maul. It wasn't even a thing. And Maul carried the Darksaber for a long time, and he wasn't the ruler of Mandalore during the Rebels era. Unless he was just hiding. Yep, more Boba content, and I think we're going to get that come March, DR. Oh, wow, look at the time. All right, guys, so included in my busy day is running a couple errands. I have to go buy a sledgehammer. I'm going to be chopping some wood today. Don't ask me how I'm doing it with a sledgehammer. It's this whole wedge thing that I use and beat it into the wood and it splits it. But I do have to chop up some wood today because I want to start a fire in said fireplace right here for the American football games that are going on this weekend. So good luck to all the teams involved in that. I'm rooting for all of you. You're all great teams. You all deserve the spotlight, but of course, deserve it most. Go Burrow, go Chase, go Higgins, Boyd, Mixon, P. Ryan, Sam Hubbard, all of you. Good job, everybody. So I am going to have to cut off now because I do have to run these errands and get this wood chopped. I have a giant tree in my yard I need to cut. I'm going to try to do these live streams more often. I don't want to wait a month for my next one. So if you haven't already, hit the like button. Hit that like button. Unless you hate what I say, then hit the unlike button. Hit the thumbs down. It tells me if I'm doing something wrong. And for those of you just joining, and this is your first live stream or second live stream or whatever, these are just casual talks. These are just us hanging out talking about Star Wars and anything else that pops up under the sun. So don't expect big theories out of me most of the time when I do live streams. It's just us having fun, getting to know you guys, building a community, because that's what it's about. Star Wars is a community, and we're a part of that community, and we're going to be a part of the positive community that comes from it. And that's what this channel is about, positivity. So I want to thank you all for watching, and a word from our sponsor, me. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. I try to keep that short. Why? Because I see so many channels that make it long and bloated. And I did that for a while, for a long time. I made the hit the subscribe button because I do this, because I do that. Now, watch my videos. You know what I do. If you like it, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. So, there. I just made it longer than I meant to. Hey, man, I'm really slipping. All right. So, I really appreciate you all for joining me today. This has been great. I'm glad to be back into the live stream. We're going to do this more often. I'm going to be coming out with some member content and some Patreon content. So if you're not a member or a patron, go ahead. If you can afford it, don't put yourself out because of it. Just you want to check it out. But this is Gerald, Star Wars Fanatic, signing off. Wishing you all great health, happiness, and peace. Thank you all for watching. And remember, this is the way. And positivity in this Star Wars community is the only way.